So you want to move abroad, you're planning a move abroad, but for one reason or another, your progress has slowed or stalled altogether. Today I'm going to talk to you about 8 reasons that might be the case. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you are new here, welcome. I'm Patricia Brooks, and I am an American expat living in the south of France and have been since 2018. And I help people who are ready to start the next chapters of their lives move through that fear and self-doubt and uncertainty so that they can finally start living their dream life abroad. And on this channel, I talk about my life in France, moving abroad, and finding the confidence and courage to live a life on your terms. So if that sounds interesting to you, be sure to click the subscribe button. All right, so this video was an idea I got after a coaching call with my clients. And there was one idea, one thought here, but it has blossomed into 8 reasons you might be losing momentum with your move abroad process and some things you can do to work through them. All right, so let's get started. The first reason that you may be working toward this move abroad, but all of a sudden you hit this brick wall and you're not making progress. You're not doing the work that's required to get you to your new country. And that is that you don't have a clear why, that you aren't clear on the core values that will be honored and served once you are moving abroad. And because you don't have this clear why based on your core values, when it gets hard, you stop, and you've got this start-stop thing going on because that why is not clear. It's not top of mind. It's not something you're using as an anchor to tell yourself, well, yes, this is hard, but the reason I'm doing this is my why, right? And your why needs to be strong enough and based on those core values that are so important to you. Now, what can you do? You can sit down and write out why it is you want to turn your life upside down so completely to live in a foreign country where it's going to be hard, right? Where it's going to take some time for you to settle in and start to feel like, this feels good. This is what I was going for, right? Know your why. Number 2 has to do with something that I have come across quite frequently over the last couple of months in speaking with people who are considering a move abroad. And that is that they're moving abroad, but moving abroad isn't the thing that is right for them, at least not right now. Sometimes we need changes in our lives. Sometimes we need big changes in our lives. And we can get the idea that doing this or that is the thing that's going to scratch that itch. And sometimes we're right and sometimes we're not. Recently, I spoke to a person who is in a career and she's had quite a bit of success in that career. And she wanted to live abroad either full-time or part-time, but she hadn't really addressed the thing that was bugging her, that she needed to change before she made this move abroad or lived abroad part-time. And that was, she was burned out from her career, quite able to retire early, but was afraid to go down that path. And so she saw maybe living abroad part-time as a way for her to make a change in her life that would help to make her more satisfied. And after our initial conversation, it became clear that the move abroad was not the thing that was top of mind or was the thing that was at issue. It was the fact that she was burned out from her career and she was ready to do something new and different, but was not able to face the fact that early retirement was the path she needed to go down, right? So that could be something that is causing you to slow down your momentum because you might be telling yourself, oh yes, I want to move abroad. And when you in fact need a change, but maybe the move abroad is not that change. And that takes me back to your why, right? If you delve into the reasons that you want to move abroad, you'll get clear on whether or not move abroad is something that is a Band-Aid that you're trying to put on something else that you need to address first that maybe scares you and causes you to say, no, I don't want to, that's not the thing. I need to do this thing over here. So that's reason number 2, that moving abroad isn't right for you right now or isn't the thing that you need to be addressing right now. Okay? Number 3 is linked to knowing your why and your core values, in that if we aren't clear on those, it's harder for us to make decisions and take action because we don't trust ourselves, right? We think, well, should I do this or should I do that? And we can get caught up in this indecision. We can get caught up in this tug of war of, well, I could do this or I could do that, or I could move here, I could move there. And as a result, there's overwhelm, there's indecision. And if you can't make a decision, then it's hard to move forward. It's hard to move the ball forward on the court, right? It's very challenging. And so if we don't know our why and we don't know our core values and we don't know ourselves and we can't trust ourselves, then making decisions can be hard and we can stall or lose momentum or get frustrated with the whole process and put it on the back burner for 2 months or 5 months or a year until we're reminded of this thing that we said we wanted to do. And then we pick it up again. So again, there's that start stop that is not really good for making progress and realizing this goal that you have. Number 4 is related to not trusting yourself, because a lot of times we can get opinions from other people or suggestions or recommendations or advice from other people. Sometimes they're in these expat groups, and expat groups aren't bad. But sometimes if we don't know ourselves, if we aren't clear on our why, our core values, who we are, what's important to us, what's non-negotiable, all of those things, then the cacophony of opinions that are in these groups can become deafening, and we can not know which way to turn, what things to do. We can doubt the things that we think that we want to do because somebody else is saying, oh, no, you should do it this way. And that can be an issue. So my recommendation with groups is check in with your feelings. If you are on those groups and you're seeking information and you're starting to feel like the answers are creating a turmoil or an anxiety for you, or making you feel like, oh, now I've got to do this thing that doesn't really feel right, then maybe you want to step back from those groups for a while and get clear on your why, get clear on your core values, start to know what is really important to you in this move, so that then when somebody suggests something that is clearly opposed to what you believe you should be doing, you are able to better say, oh, that's an interesting idea. That's maybe for somebody else. That's not for me. And you don't feel like, oh, well, maybe I should be doing that, and start to question and go down that rabbit hole of indecision, as I just spoke about. All right. I've listed a few here. Do any of these resonate with you? If so, give this video a thumbs up. Number 5 is a really popular one as well. And that is, well, how am I going to be able to do this? How am I going to finance my life living in a foreign country? Now, if you're retired and you have a pension that meets the income requirements, this is probably not you. But there are a lot of people out there who are still of working age and need to figure out how they're going to support themselves. And the thing is that they know how to do a certain thing. Maybe they've had success in their career. Maybe they enjoy their career. And they're looking at this move abroad as, okay, I do this thing over here. How can I do what I do in my current country, in my new country? And that works for some people. There are people who have moved abroad and gotten jobs doing the exact things that they did in their old country. There are people who have moved abroad with multinationals. They get a job with a multinational and then get a transfer, right? That is completely possible. But other times people go down this path of, well, how am I going to support myself? I do this. I've been doing this for 20 years. I've been doing this for 30 years. It's all I know how to do. How can I get a job doing this in this foreign country? Is that possible? And I think the sticking point here is that sometimes it's tunnel vision because it's what we've done. It's what we know. We can sometimes think it's all that we can do when if you've worked for 10 years, you probably have a plethora of skills that you have done in this career that you have that you aren't even thinking about. Maybe you have some hobbies that you're good at and that you could start a business, offer a consulting service based on some of those things. Like making that move abroad and finding a way to finance it in terms of finding a job, creating a business opportunity for yourself is a way to do it, but you have to be able to think outside of the box in order to go down that path. And for me, I really wasn't necessarily so concerned about how I was going to support myself. It became a concern later, a couple years in, when I saw my savings dwindling, but I needed that year and a half off to kind of figure out what my next professional move was because, well, I wouldn't say I was burnt out. I was tired of doing what I was doing. I was tired of feeling unappreciated and going into a job, Monday through Friday and doing the slog, right? It was not fun. And so I needed that time off. But there came a point where I was like, okay, now I need to figure this out. I know I don't want to work for somebody else. What can I do? I'd been through coach training. I knew that moving abroad and having this life in France has been an incredible experience, one that I didn't necessarily believe was possible for me at first, but here I was doing it. I wanted to help other people to create a belief in themselves and find that courage so that they can make their own moves and experience the power of living in a foreign country. And so that's how my business, the Courage Catalyst, and my signature coaching program, the Carefree Expat Incubator, came to be. But had I been so narrowly focused on, I was a project manager before, I've got to find a job at a company here in France as a project manager, I could have gone down that path, but that would have been a hard path because it's not what I wanted to do. And my energy would come across in interviews that, my heart really isn't in it. So that can be something that you can get stuck in, is the idea that I've done this is all I know how to do, and so I can't make this move abroad. So the way through that is to maybe talk to a career coach, maybe list those things that you're passionate about and that you would enjoy doing. Maybe it is finding somebody to help you to get a job overseas. But know that there are options. And I think that's the way through this sticking point here. Number 6 has to do with not enjoying the journey. Now, we can often get caught up in the idea of when this happens, then I will be happy. I know I'm guilty of that. And so the whole process to getting to that place that we want, getting the degree or getting the job or, reaching 7 figures in your business or finding your partner, that whole journey, that whole process can feel hard, feel like it's an effort laced with negative emotion, feel like struggle. And when something feels hard and we're pushing and forcing, that energy that we're tackling and moving forward toward our goal with is not helpful. It can actually slow our progress. It can also create impasses. It can create these roadblocks for us, because if we were a little bit more relaxed about it, we could be clearer in our minds and see a different path forward, or hear our intuition. Oftentimes when I am pushing something, I am not present and I can't hear the thing that's going to make this thing easier and more joyful to move through. So pushing and forcing and not enjoying the journey and thinking, once I get to France, then I'll be happy, is something that slows progress. It stalls progress. And in the end, once you get to France, there's going to be something else that you're going to be pushing for so that you can be happy, because you haven't learned to feel contentment along the way. When I was moving to France, I needed to have an address, and I wanted to move in October of 2017. And so in August, I was looking for an apartment online, and I found one. It was an Airbnb. I negotiated a long-term rate, and I thought I was good. They approved it. And then a week later, they canceled it. And they said, well, we're getting ready to sell this apartment, so you can't have it for a year. And I was crushed because this was what I needed for my visa requirement. And so I pushed and tried to find another apartment, and to no avail. And it was frustrating and it was hard. And at some point I just said, okay, I'm still moving abroad. I'm going to continue to clear out my house. I'm going to continue to get it painted. I'm going to continue doing those things so that I can move abroad as soon as I can find this apartment. And when I did that, I felt a release. It was a relief not to be pushing. And when I picked it back up 3 or 4 weeks later, I found something immediately. And it felt better, right? Moving through that process felt better. So that stress and that angst, and that can come across, again, talking about energy, that can come across to somebody who maybe wants to rent to me, but they're feeling like something is off with me. So not enjoying the journey. I know it sounds trite. I know it sounds hard to do. And you might even be saying, oh, well, Patricia, you can say that because you're already living in your dream country. Well, that's true, but there are still some things in my life that I'm working toward where I would like it to be different. And I'm not there yet. I want to buy a house here. I'm still looking for a partner. I'm still building my business to where I want it to be. But I am doing it in a manner that is not forcing, right? I'm working, I'm putting in the effort, but I'm not forcing. I'm not getting so wrapped up and riled up that I can't get or feel or sense or hear what my next right steps are. I'm really now much more in tune with that intuition, and intuition helps to ease your path. And so if you're enjoying the journey, if you're not forcing, that will take you far. Number 7 is you're getting close. You've figured out where you want to move abroad. You know how you're going to support yourself. You're starting to clear out your house and even think about pulling together the paperwork for your visa. And all of a sudden you hit this brick wall because it's starting to feel real, right? That fear is rising up in you because, oh, this could really happen. And it's something you've never done before. And that fear, that self-doubt starts to crop up, and it can cause you to slow down. It can cause you to maybe self-sabotage for whatever reason there is. And it might even cause you to stall that fear. So what can you do here? Well, if you've gotten this far and you feel some hesitation because of that uncertainty and there's fear around making such a big life-changing move, then there are people out there like me who are coaches that help you through that process, help you to be clear on your why, help you to know what your core values are, help you to move through the process so you don't feel like you're doing it all by yourself, so that you can get to that finish line, so that you can finally make your move abroad. And so if you're feeling stuck in this way, if you're feeling a sense of, I don't know if I can do this. I said I wanted to do this, but this feels really scary and intimidating. And can I do this? Can I do this on my own? Then I think it's time for us to have a conversation. And so I'd love to have a complimentary discovery call with you so I can find out where you are in the process, where you want to be, what things are holding you back, and if our working together could help you get there with more ease. So I'm going to put a link to my calendar in the description, or you can go to thecouragecatalyst.com/future expat to schedule that. All right. So this is another reason, right, that you're getting closer, right? And things are starting to feel more real, and that fear crops up. So, and what you can do is you can reach out and get help, You can get support. And the 8th reason that people lose momentum or their progress stalls in moving abroad is because they fail to get help. Now, whether that help is with the visa process, whether that help is with buying property, whether that help is with working on your mindset and moving through fear, that they feel like they have to do it all on their own. And moving abroad is a big deal. And so wherever you feel stuck, wherever you feel like you might need some support or guidance, there's nothing wrong with getting help. Maybe you're stuck in trying to figure out what career you want to do next when you're living abroad. Then you can consult a career coach, right? So there are people out there to help you no matter where you feel stuck. And so if you're in this place, figure out where it is you're stuck and look to people who have that expertise who can help you. All right. So there you go. Those are 8 reasons that people slow down or their progress slows down when they're making a move abroad. Do any of these seem like ones you've experienced? Let me know in the comments. All right. So that wraps up this video. If you have others, I'd like to see those in the comments as well. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, share it with friends, subscribe, and I will see you again next time. Bye for now.